compassion, in a way, is my capacity to accept you as you are, to love you as you are, to love myself as I am, without the but. The waking up is a phenomenon that is happening naturally. And so the practices help us to switch from a reactive mode to a place of mastery, a place of like, oh, I'm seeing what's happening.
Hello and welcome to another podcast with me, your host, Brett Moran. This podcast is all about having conscious conversations over a coconut here in Thailand. And today we have a really interesting guest. I actually found out about this guy through Antonio, a cameraman, and he kept going on about him. He's going, you need to listen to this guy talk about the Tao, and the way he talks is really funny. So I'm really excited to introduce you to a guy called Fluke. Well, I just found out that's not actually his real name, but that's what I'm going to call him. Fluke, how's it going, mate? Thank you for coming.
Good. Thank you for bringing me. Let's see what will come up.
What comes out of the conversation.
Yes.
So Antonio's been telling me about you quite a lot because Antonio's really into like the Tao. I just want to make sure I pronounce that right. Is it called the Tao or the Tao?
It's called, the book itself called Tao Te Ching, but the Tao is the concept that we basically gonna speak about.
Yeah.
And I can give a little bit background where it's coming from and so on, and then we see like what practically is there. Maybe I'll say just before we start, something about the intention behind this work and everything. So, a lot of people look at spiritual work and then they start to think, okay, and then spiritual is not that connected to life, and then I go spiritual, so I live reality. And our work is very focused about how to bring spiritual concepts into reality.
Nice.
So how to integrate all these things into life. And specifically the Tao itself, as maybe my main studies, is really about that. Some people will say it's a book for managers. So it's a management book and so on. So I'll just say a few words about the same time that of the Buddha 2,600 years ago in India. There was a guy, blah, 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 long story, the Buddha. Yeah. And about the same time in China, there was another guy, his name not that important, it's not even, people not really sure who was this guy and so on, but it was about the same time in China. There was another guy and blah, 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 Taoism. So it's happened in two separate places in the world, and one he wrote the book, it's called Tao Te Ching, which is the basis of the whole philosophy that's called Taoism. People mostly don't know Taoism, so...
Explain it to me, because I'm so at the beginning of it, and I like what Antonio says and how he speaks about it, but what does it actually mean?
So, actually people do know it through that about 1,500 years ago, Buddhist monk have traveled toward China and they met Taoist sages. And they came together and they created what we call today the first school of Zen, the Zen monasteries. So a lot of people heard about the concept of Zen, which is one of the 5 paths of Buddhism.
Yeah.
And Zen is basically influenced by Buddhism and Taoism. And so most people don't know what is Taoism, but a lot of people know what is Zen. And when you talk about Zen, you actually essentially talk also about Taoism. So this is like where people get to know more this concept. The book itself is a very short book. It's 81 chapters. Each chapter is about 15 lines. It was written in original Chinese, so each letter in original Chinese is like a picture.
Yeah.
So it's like 5,000 small icons, the entire book.
Wow.
That's it. And when you translate it to English, it will be 81 chapters. Each chapter is about 15 lines. If you read it, like you read a book, it will take you about 1.5 hours to read the entire book. There is an audio version of it that I'm using a lot, which is also about 1.5 hours. So like the entire teachings, the Bible, it's 1.5 hours.
An hour, yeah.
That's it. It's very short. And the book itself, it talks about very interesting things, but maybe I will bring like 2 main concepts. One of them is the Tao, which is everything. And the other one is the master, which is essentially you. So it's basically talk about how life works and how you play inside of it.
So how life works is the Tao, and how you play is the master.
Yes, it's the master.
Yeah.
So like the master does this and that and that. And the Tao is like that and that and that. And so it's basically describing the natural behavior of the true master and the natural behavior of life. or existence or whatever we're going to call it.
Yeah.
And some people reflect to this book as a manual. So it's like you open the manual and it tells you how things are and what you need to understand and how to operate. And so it's very short and it's like a manual. So it's like I just give it to you and like just use it. It's like and one of the main concepts that is going through the Tao is the concept of simplicity. And then it brings it like why I'm actually there. So I've studied a lot of different philosophies and I practice a lot of different things and I'm very deep also into Buddhism and stuff. But what I learned with the years is that in order that I will be able to apply it as a manager in a company, as a family man, as like in my daily life, yes,
yeah.
everything that you do, it needs to be direct, simple, easy to understand, simplified. And so
How do you apply it to business? Because I know that you are one of the co-founders of a beautiful yoga resort, meditation kind of place here called Wonderland. How do you apply it as a manager? How do you apply the Tao? So I find that fascinating, like bringing spirituality into business, because some people think it's so separate, like money and business and success, and then you've got spiritual here. And you're kind of saying like you bring this in and simplify it. Like how do you do that?
So we can take specific examples of the teachings of the book and try to play with them. And as we touch them, we'll actually understand the vibration and the feelings of what does it mean and how to take it into reality. I'll give one of them. I think it's one of my most favorites, and I like to give it as an example. In one of the sentences, it says, and before I will say it, I'll just say, there is so many translations to the book. So if people listening to us now, they might have heard it differently.
Yeah.
So I can read the same line and understand it in 5,000 different ways. So every time I come back to the book, it gives me like a new teaching, yeah?
Yes,
But it's the same content, yeah?
Yeah.
So I'll just present one version of one line. So if people heard it in different way, don't get too agitated. It's just different translations. He says in one of the lines, he says, I can teach you only 3 things: patient, compassion, and simplicity.
Nice.
Okay, so, and then you can take it and try to figure out what does it mean. So I'll give just few pointers that it will. First of all, I can teach you only 3 things. So it can mean that I know only 3 things that I can teach, but it also can mean there is only 3 things for you to study. Okay, as if you'll study those 3 things, you will be a true master. So a true master, what does it mean? I'm not going to go into that to that one, but master of your life, whatever it means to you. If you want to have better quality of life, so you need to master this life. So I can teach you only 3 things. Patient, okay, it's my capacity to take things, to be patient. So, I feel I need to do it. Or no, be patient, take your time. So that's one quality. Compassion, in a way, is my capacity to accept you as you are, to love you as you are, to love myself as I am, without the but. It's like, I love you, but...
Yeah.
No, that's not compassion, that's another class.
Try and change people.
Yes.
You want them to change for how you want them to be, right?
Or change yourself.
Or change yourself.
So you're not living to the standard.
Yeah.
Yes, so there is a lot of shame, guilt, blame,
Judgment. Yeah.
All of this suddenly disappears. So compassion is the quality that's actually dissolve 90% of what goes inside your head, which we call it negative thinking. Yeah, suffering. Yeah, so patient, compassion, and simplicity. And then he says that one of the phrases that simple in thoughts and simple in action. So basically, he says keep it simple. Now, I've been involved, actually my background is business. So I've been involved in more than 100 companies in my life, in all sorts of fields, technology, real estate, trading, and so on. And there is one thing that I can tell you with my life experience in business is keep it simple and stupid. Yes, because then you will not be able to manage it. So one of the things he's talking in a very deep way there is about simplicity, as what is really troubling you in your life is because you make it complicated. And
that is deep. That is very deep. So most people are struggling. They're going through these troubles, but they're actually making it so complicated. You're saying just keep it simple.
Keep it simple, yes.
Keep it simple.
So then when you even try to study spirituality, I will show you how you make it complicated. It's like spirituality is very simple. Wisdom is something very simple.
Life is simple.
So intellect, very complicated. You try to know more all the time, and then you go trying to improve your quality of life, and you go into studies, and you study more and more and more and more information and more information, and then you're overwhelmed with information, and then your life becomes very complex, and you're never good enough because you know so much, and you can't apply all this knowledge. No, keep it simple. It will be fine. So simplicity is one of the most beautiful things there. And another one, he says, related to the intellect, he says, when you pursue intellect every day, you add something. When you work with the Tao, every day you unlearn something. So you basically let go and become more simple. And you know, honestly, you know this sentence they say is, stupid people have a better life. You know, it's like when you come so intelligent, you know, you have a lot of complicated problems to solve, and so-called stupid people, they don't have those problems.
Yeah.
And you know, you can actually see it in life. So
yeah, I read a really beautiful book by Yogi Nityananda, and he says there's a big difference between intellect and intelligence. The intellect, we're trying to work everything out and label everything, and the intelligence is, I suppose, maybe like the Tao or this kind of, you know, this mystery, we don't know what it is. The intelligence, you just trust that. Like it's moving through your body right now and keeping you alive, and then we just sort of get too much in the logical brain of trying to understand everything. If I'm starting, for example, for me, I'm just going to, because I like to kind of keep it a bit more practical, and lots of people listening at home, they might not be spiritual or listening. So I just want to give an example. For me, we've got this podcast, it's a new kind of project, we've got this business, but then and I want to keep it simple, and I want to kind of go with the flow, but then there's a part of it, but we need to pay the rent, we need to pay staff, we need to pay money. How would I keep it simple in that? Because there's a part of like making a business, you take action, but then you kind of keep it simple and you don't take action. How do you get the balance? Where's the fine line?
you know, I don't think that things like go with the flow and keep it simple mean do not do anything. That's one of the misconfusion in the interpretation of those concepts. One of the topics with the Tao, that when you study the Tao, you can easily go into intellect mind and translate it into passivity. But actually, it's the totally other way. It's being fully engaged with life, be active, do everything you need to do, but stay cool about it.
I love that.
Don't take it seriously. So don't be attached to the results, but make the actions that is necessary. Don't wait for someone else to solve your problem. You go and do what you need to do. Do what you need to do. You know, it's like, I don't go with this concept of like, yeah, the universe is bringing me, the universe is taking. No. You are the master of your own life. Take responsibility of what you need, but stay connected inside. So, for example, I'll give you an example which is really practical. Do you see how much tension you have when you're making an action? Yeah?
Yeah, in the body, you mean?
Yes,
Yeah.
or even in your head and thoughts and how much time and like these neurotic things inside. Okay, so learn to be with this and find methods of easing on that side.
Relaxing.
Yes, relaxing into that. But you can still make the same actions. You can still go forward and take the action, but see what goes inside of you. I would say that in the philosophy that I try to share with people is that there is two sides to the work. One of them is the practices that you have, and the other one is the dharma or the knowledge that you acquire that guides you how to do the things. And by the way, it's 97% practice, 3% knowledge, and this is something that is painful for us to accept. It's like I'll give something very deep with this example. There is the knowledge that you have here, and there is the knowledge that you have here. And a nice example for this is, let's say you studied in your life and you learn that if someone is triggering you, you should count to 10 before you say something. Because usually when someone triggers you and you're reacting to it, 1 hour later, you're asking yourself, what have I done?
Yeah, why did I do
And how can I take time back, you know? So, like, you know this, okay? Now be honest with yourself. Look inside. How many times you forget to do it?
Nearly all the time, right?
Okay, so what, are you stupid? No, you're not stupid. You know it. You heard it when you were a little child. You've been told those things. It's like it's not new information, but the information is here and it's not here.
It's more in the brain.
Yeah, so it's not here. It's like, so why, when you come to practicality, in the real time, you cannot apply the knowledge that you have, the wisdom that you have acquired in life, and you run away and go into reaction, into fighting, into stress, into all of those things. So there are actually practical practices that helps you to separate yourself from your reactions and to be able to be above them.
Can you give us an example of some of the practices, how you practice it
Yes,
daily?
yes. So first of all, we need to understand there is how the system works inside, what is really happening. And when you say something, it's like it's hitting me. Yeah. So I'm feeling, you hurt me. You told me my shirt is not nice. How can I handle this? I'm very angry. And I want to jump on you. Yeah. I want to react.
Attack back.
To attack back or to run away.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm scared. So I'm going to run away. And so this is the natural reaction that we have. And there is a moment that we wake up from the reaction and we're actually seeing what's happening. And so I don't control the reaction and I actually cannot choose to wake up. The waking up is a phenomenon that is happening naturally. Some of us don't wake up for 10 years. Something happened to us and we are in the reaction for 10 years. We continue living in the reaction. But there is a moment that we wake up and this moment we are actually becoming centered again. And we can see really what's happening. And at that moment, you are the master. You can choose if you want to stay angry. You can choose if you want to smile. You can choose to withdraw, to attack. You can actually have a place to choose. And so the practices help us to switch from a reactive mode, like a robot, to a place of mastery, a place of like, oh, I'm seeing what's happening. I can choose what to do. So I'm not in the reaction process anymore. We do different things related to this. A lot of people assign a lot of power to the concept of different types of meditations. What I do, I train people in a very basic, it will sound very ridiculous, but I'll share it. So we take a space that is 15 meters long, and I tell people to walk in a straight line from one side to the other. They come to the other side, they turn around on the spot, and they come back, and they turn around, and they come back, and they walk back and forth.
This is the inner walk,
This
right?
is called the inner walk.
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah, it sounds very stupid. And basically, you walk your freestyle speed. Don't control your speed, just walk. And don't control your mind. Let your mind to do what it wants. And what is happening is that while you're walking, your mind takes you to different places. So you're losing the center, basically. You're just wandering around. And every time you get to the wall and you turn around, it wakes you up. Because if you're not going to turn around, you're going to hit the wall. So it's like you're driving in the car and someone is beeping on the back.
Yeah,
it's like,
wake up.
It's like, wake up. Oh, you need to turn. And so we know it from driving the car, that you drive the car and suddenly, oh, where am I? It's like, and so what is happening is you walk, you kind of go into daydreaming state and you're losing the center. And as you turn around, it brings you back. So you go out and back and out and back and out and back. And this trains the muscle of being present. So by doing this repetitively, it brings you to a place of center. So the next time that you will lose your center, you will come back to your senses way quicker. So it's like a muscle. So let's say you can run 10 kilometers and then I need to call an ambulance. I can run only 1 kilometer. But I can train myself. I can do this practice and then it will be very easy for me to run 3 kilometers, 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers. Same is with being present. Being present is a muscle and you can train it. And one of the most beautiful practices that I share is this practice that is called inner walk.
And how long would they walk up and down for? Is it like an hour, a day?
People will think we're crazy about that. So, first of all, I invite you to walk 15 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, I'm just inviting you and try and see. And then you'll see that it's like 15 minutes like this. You barely get to experience anything. And then you walk for an hour and you see the time flies like this. And we run a workshop almost every week, from Monday to Thursday. Every time you come, we do like an opening talk. We explain the method. We walk for 4 hours. And then we have like a sharing circle and people share the experience. They can ask questions and so on. And the practice is done in a very light attitude. So it's not like harsh meditation, strict, and like, no, you walk your freestyle, you take as many breaks as you like. We even bring cushions to the space, so if people want to take a break and fall asleep, they're invited. There is water, there is toilet, and they take as many breaks as they like. What we actually see that when we give the people the freedom to walk in their speed and to do it in their way, basically, the only thing we say is like just walk in straight line and let the mind be. People find a lot of things about this practice, and like even taking the break, a lot of people in the first, second day, they take a break and they lie down. They fall asleep for 15, 20 minutes. They wake up and they will say it was one of the most powerful sleeping they ever had in their life.
Deep sleep.
Very deep sleep, like very deep relaxation. And what is happening when you let your mind be and just let him be and be and be, slowly it will settle down. Slowly it will quiet down, and slowly like you'll come back to your center and peace and harmony and all of those things.
That's incredible, right? Yeah. So you in a way you're not burning out the mind, but you're exhausting the mind, letting it think and go off into all these stories, past, present, future, and then eventually it just starts to slow down and calm.
So I will share maybe something that will make sense, the science behind it.
Yeah. Guys, I know you're enjoying the video, but I've got a quick question for you. Are you okay with that monkey mind being a monkey? We've all got this voice inside the head, or voices filled with self-doubt, criticism, judgment. But most people don't understand how important it is to master that monkey mind. So look, if you've got a monkey mind or a voice that is just busy inside your head and it never seems to shut up, I know exactly how you feel. And thankfully, I found meditation about 20 years ago. And so, I have an amazing opportunity for you. It's the Bodhi Meditation Teacher Training Program. This 10-week program is designed to share with you 8 Bodhi meditations. And the amazing thing about these meditations is that they are scientifically proven to help you reduce stress, reduce anxiety, uplift your mood, boost your energy. In other words, create that kind of lifestyle, that energy and that health and that happiness that most people crave. Over the course of 10 weeks, I'm going to be your meditation coach. And at the end of this course, you're going to become a certified Bodhi meditation teacher. That means that you can coach people one-to-one, you can work from anywhere in the world, build online courses, or even teach meditation at yoga retreats or anywhere you decide. So click that link below and together will open up your heart so that you wake up feeling positive and literally this buzz for life. The link is below. Now you can get back to your video. Have an amazing day.
Your mind is a tool of solving problems. So basically, if you observe your thoughts for enough time and you will record everything they're doing, you will just see you're just trying to solve problems. If it's the problem of your meaning of life, or how you make survival, or why your mom didn't like you, or tell you something when you were young, or why someone tell you that your shirt is not nice, and you're constantly trying to solve problems. Now, most of what you're doing with your mind is actually unconscious thinking. So it seems like you're awake, but you unconsciously processing a lot of thoughts, but you're actually not present with your mind. So it's waste of energy. So it's like you talking and I'm looking there and I'm not even listening to you. I'm listening to something else. So you can keep talking. You're wasting your words. I'm not listening. And think that what your mind is actually doing all the time is suggesting you solutions to things. He's talking with you. So you're not your mind. Your mind is just a tool that is pouring constant information about life, about survival, about how to fix problems on you. And you're not present with it. Very inefficient process. So what happens while you do it in the context of the practice, because every time you turn around, it wakes you up and brings you back. You're becoming aware to your subconscious thoughts. Because I'm telling you, let your mind to do what it wants, but this wakes you up and keep you aware to what your mind is doing. So if you're listening to your mind, after some times, it doesn't need to tell you the things anymore. You've been listening, yeah?
Yeah.
It's like, if I'm not listening to you, you'll keep repeating the same sentence.
Yeah.
But if I listen to you, one time is enough. I get it, I heard you.
So the mind doesn't keep on telling you it again.
Yeah, so you might find yourself in the first, second day of the practice, spiraling in and out in thoughts about everything in your life. But at some point, you'll just see it will be gone. And you know what's really funny? When you're looking about solving problems, basically there is 2 solutions. One is to fix it, and the other one is to understand the problem is an illusion. So
What do you mean by that? It's deep, and I like it. When you say one to fix it, because I suppose most people, without their meditation or inner walk, they're listening at home. They're trying to fix things:
Yes.
job, house, relationship, car, finances. And then you're saying it's the other option is it's an illusion. What does that mean?
it basically, you know, we grew up in a certain belief systems that is creating our reality.
Yeah.
Yeah. One good example is that if someone will stand now between us and start to scream, I will start to laugh and you will start to cry.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a perception.
Yeah.
I
Perception creates a reality.
Yeah, and I look at him and I find it funny. I don't know. You find it very scary and you start to cry.
Yeah.
Okay, so why is that? It's our perception. So
Our upbringing, our childhood, what we learned from
our
parents.
history and so on and
Yeah.
so on. So first of all, when you come to me and you tell me that you have a problem, is your perception tells you that you have a problem. Okay, so maybe we can solve this problem, or maybe we can understand it is not a problem.
It's an illusion.
Yeah, it's just like, and sometimes, you know, in life, you do have, let's say, an argument with someone or a fight with someone, and at some point it just drops out. I don't know, you just move on in life. Does the facts of reality change? No, but something inside of you understood that this is not relevant anymore. So you're not bothered by this anymore, and it's not your problem anymore. Maybe it was never a problem. You just believe in it for a while. A good example, that's something that happens to us a lot in life. I see you doing something and I'm getting angry. Angry at you. So I walk with this anger for 2 days. And after 2 days, I speak with you and you explain me why you did it. Ah, wow, okay, it makes sense. Now I'm not angry anymore.
Shift.
You see, now I'm not angry anymore. So for 48 hours, my perception was that you are bad. And at some point I understood, no, he's not bad. Okay, so the first 48 hours, I was thinking about you a lot. You were really bothering me. I didn't go to sleep because of you. And then suddenly something happened and my perception shifts and
There you go.
it's gone. So
You could have done that 48 hours before, right? Like at the beginning.
So if you do understand that everything that you so-called believe is a problem, which is your mind trying to figure out what to do with this, maybe you can solve it. Maybe you can understand it's an illusion.
Yeah.
Now, I'm very practical, so I'm not telling you all your problems are illusion, which in some way they are. I will tell you that you can choose if it's a problem that you want to fix or it's a problem that you want to understand it's an illusion.
Just let it go.
And both of them available for you. So the practical side of life is fixing it. The spiritual side of life is understanding it's an illusion.
Oh, I like that. The practical side of life is trying to fix everything. The spiritual side is just letting it go.
Okay.
Would you say when you let go of the illusion, you're free, right?
Yeah.
You're free.
But I will challenge this sentence. You cannot choose to let go.
You cannot choose to let go.
No,
What do
it's
you
not
mean?
a decision that you can make. You can understand something and then it drops away.
You have to understand it. You can't choose to let go. You have to
Okay,
understand
so I will give the example, yeah? If I understand that everything in your behavior is because of your past life, the way you grew up. So, you know, if you go to prison, you see a lot of criminals. Oh, they are bad people. But if you start to speak with them, you see the consequences that led to them being in a prison.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying we need to take them out of prison. That's not my point. But I can understand how they ended up being there. Yeah? So if you do something that I don't appreciate, I don't like, and I'm walking with anger, I don't think that telling me to let go will solve it. It's like, no, I still think you did something bad.
Still angry.
Yeah? And the proof of it is that we are keeping anger or pain for years with people. And how many times people told us, you know, it doesn't serve you, this anger. It doesn't serve you, this pain. Let it go. Well, I cannot choose to let go. I still think about it, and it's still coming up at night, and still I wake up with this in the morning, and I'm still angry. So I cannot choose to let go. But if I find reason, some understanding, I will not be angry anymore. So if I'll understand why you did what you did 48 hours ago, I will just naturally not hold it anymore.
Then it will let
So the letting go is a natural phenomena that is rising from understanding.
Nice.
Okay, now there is deeper understanding that you can gain in life that will allow you to let go of stuff without really understanding them. So I don't need to understand your personal story. I can understand the story of humanity. The story of humanity is that you're a subject of your culture, neighborhood, parents, life experience, and you're just the consequences of that.
Yeah.
So there is nothing for me to be angry at. I just understand this. Now, if you're going to sit here and tell me all your life story and then I will understand it, or I'll just understand that you have a life story that justifies your behavior.
Yeah.
It's like, I meet enough people to understand that this is how it works. So,
Yeah.
so I'm free from that.
How does somebody that's kind of not into spirituality or have the experience you've had for doing the inner walk, how do they start to understand that? Because in society, at home or the UK, wherever we come from, not on Koh Phangan, something happens, someone gets triggered, and it's crazy and conflict. How do people get more understanding, basically? Is there a way?
So I'll look at this from few different perspectives, okay? If you will have a technique to sit and observe your mind, just look at your mind and see what he's doing for enough time, I promise you that you know all the teaching of the Buddhism, Taoism, Kabbalah, whatever you want. You'll get all the teachings inside of you without opening the book once. Because what is happening is if we learn the technique of observing the mind, not participating in the talking, just sitting on the side and let the mind talk.
Like watching it.
Watching it, yeah? Like what we do in Inner Walk, for example. You will understand the teaching by yourself. You don't need any teacher. So you'll ask me, how much do I need to practice in order to know all the teachings? Maybe it will take you many years. So what we do, we combine we take like the Book of Tao or Buddhism, and we combine it with the practice of Inner Walk. So the practice helps you to see. And the book gives you the tips about life. So, like the teachings about forgiveness and understanding, or the teachings that, for example, expectations create tensions, create suffering. Okay, it makes sense. And then you walk and you observe your mind and you see that your mind is constantly in expectations. Oh, this is why I'm suffering. And so naturally, now you become aware to your own expectations of life. And you have a teachings that tells you expectations is suffering. It all makes sense suddenly. And then you walk the next day in the street and you talk with a friend and you tell him, let's meet tomorrow at 10. And then you sit at 10 and he's not there and you're really angry. And then it clicks. Oh, I've created an expectation for him to be here at 10.
That made me.
And now he's not standing up to my expectations. And now I'm angry. Okay, I see what's going on. And slowly you start to see it sneaking into your life. And when I set a meeting with you for 10, I understand that we both going to do our best to be here at 10. I know that your best look different than my best. And there is a high probability that you will not be here at 10. It's a good chance. And there is nothing for me to take it personally. You're just doing your best and I'm doing my best. So slowly I understand how to work with expectations. And more of like, we're making a plan. We hope it will happen.
Work out. What if you're a business person and you are meeting somebody at 10 and then they don't turn up and then you don't get angry because you understand everything, but then you set a meeting for tomorrow and then they don't turn up at 10, you then come back with feedback from a place of love and say, hey,
So
you don't be a doormat.
So what do I do when you come to attack me? Oh, peace, love. No, I'm not going to let you to attack me. Yeah, I'm going to defend myself. So I'm going to use a practical sense in life to deal with people that don't show up to meetings.
Yeah.
Either I will understand that I will tell them 9:30 and I will come at 10.
Brilliant.
Okay, we do this as well in life. Or, I will understand that I cannot work with you.
Yeah, but I suppose what I'm saying is you can also give them feedback, right?
Yeah, or I will just talk with you,
just say, hey.
But, now we are going to how I externally deal with this. And we need to understand, again, there is the spiritual answer and there is the practical answer.
Nice, I really
Practical
like
answer,
that.
I'll give you a call.
Yeah, really like
And
that.
the spiritual answer is like, I don't create expectations. I know that you're a human being. You're subjected to a lot of things.
Stuff happens.
Now, you know what's funny? That if you don't show up at 10, I will get angry because you don't show up at 10, because you're disrespecting me. And my friend will get panicked because he will think that you had an accident. You see?
Again, in reality, the perception creates the reality, right?
And like one is freaking out and one is getting angry because, and we don't even
other
have
one-
an idea why you're not there. You
And the
know?
other one, like Antonio, thinks, great, I'm going for a coconut. He's like, oh, no one's there.
So no, it's like, so it's really a matter how you can really stay back from your own mind, step back from your own mind, and everything will be just fine.
I'm loving this so much.
By the way, this is a phrase that comes from the Tao. Step back from your own
Step
mind.
back from your own mind.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I'm loving this so much. In my next book, we're writing a book on meditations, and I just came up with this, or it came through wherever it come from. I have no idea, but it was like it's not your mind. Like what you think of your mind, and you're hearing these stories, is your conditioning, and like you said, the perception. The mind is very beautiful. It's this oneness, it's freeness. What would you say about that? Because I think a lot of people cling so much to my mind or even my emotions, my anxiety. That then identifies you with this suffering, and you're in it for a very long time. I've just found through meditation, I've never done the inner walk yet, and I'm excited to do it. But through meditation, I've like realized, well, actually, that's not me. Like I am more of the witness. And I know that sounds far out for some people, but we're more of that rather than this thing that's just jabbering 24/7, because that seems to be programmed by society, parents, and
So, you know, there is many ways to try to introduce yourself into that concept. But one of them, I will say that all the voices that you hear inside of you and outside of you are just advices.
advices.
Advice, it's advice. You can follow it and you can ignore it.
Yeah.
So let's say you hire me to be your lawyer. Okay, you have a big business, you hire me to be your lawyer. So I'm managing the company or you? Who's the manager? You hired me to be your lawyer. Who's the manager? You're the manager.
Yeah.
I'm just your lawyer. So I tell you, look, don't make a contract, don't do the deal with Antonio. It's not a good deal for you. You will do it or not? It's up to you. It's not up to me.
You're just giving me the advice.
I'm giving you the advice. Now, some people hired the lawyer and gave him the key to the company, the power to the company, and they are not running the company anymore. It's the lawyer who's running the company. Now, we need to understand that the lawyer has his own interest, not necessarily aligned with yours. I'll give you one of them. If I'm your lawyer, I need to make sure that every advice I give you will not put me in trouble. So they will be very protective and very safe. But in life, sometimes you need to take chances. You need to break the safety, and you need to see, well, you know what? Antonio is a good guy. I don't want this contract with him. I just want to do something with him. You know, like, leave me alone. And no, you have to make a contract. You have to make a contract. You have to do... No, I don't want to. It doesn't feel right for me to do the contract with Antonio. I just want to go to eat lunch with him. I don't need a contract for that. When you set a meeting with Antonio to go at 1 to eat lunch, it's like your lawyer is coming with you, you know? It's like, did he sign for 1? And what happens if he doesn't show up at 1? Should we fight with him? And what happens if... Like, you don't live like this. So your mind is like... It's like a lawyer that you hired to give you advices. You don't have to do everything he's saying. He's just a consultant.
And some people, would you say some people make the mistake of thinking that advice that
Yes.
they're always getting is what they should do, or listen to it, and that creates the suffering? You know?
Now I'll give you another thing. You have a very big company, big operation. You have 10 vice presidents in the company working for you. So there is a problem happening. You bring them all to the same room. They all sit around the table, and you tell them, everyone is free to suggest whatever he wants. He's not accountable for his advices. Okay? Just brainstorming. I want to hear all of you. Just talk. So everyone is throwing ideas. Yeah? Which is a good brainstorming method. You want to hear everything. At the end of the day, you need to make a decision. Okay. Now, your mind is like 10 consultant because it brings different perspectives. So one will be very safe. One will be curiosity. One will be inspiration and excitement. And so now you have 3 advices about the same thing. Which one do you like? Now, if you choose one, you're giving up on the others. So every time you lean to one side, the other 2 will come and jump and say, yeah, but what about us? We are also good, you know, we are also good. And why you don't listen to us? And so you listen to the other one and you start to lean to the other side. And then
They're on.
And you're sitting in the middle like, like you don't know what to do. But if you just step back and say, okay, this is just all possibilities. I need to choose. Okay?
And would you say that would come more from when you're in here? rather than like in the advice?
Well, I have few approaches to find a solution for this. And the first one that I will give, which is the most important one, flip a coin. And people are like, this is a very spiritual advice. And I was like, flip a coin. And I want to point to something, okay? There is 2 doors in front of you. How many options do you have? So you think 2, but there are 3. Door number 1, door number 2, and looking at the doors. It's also an option. Yeah? Now, we believe that we don't cognitively see that this is the option we're actually mostly doing. You know? You can go to the right, you can go to the left, and you can think about it. And you can keep thinking about it. How long do you think about it? For 2 years. So you actually chose not to choose. I call it option 0. Yeah? Not doing anything about it. And what is really happening is that if it was that clear, you would already know the answer. So option number 1 has its benefits, and option number 2 has its benefits. And honestly, you don't know how to choose, and I can accept this. Flip a coin. It's not the end of the world. If it was that bad, one of them, you would take it out of the list. So you didn't take them out of the list. It means that they are still valid in your life, yeah? And I'm just saying sometimes flipping a coin is the most spiritual answer to all of your problems.
That is it. Spirituality and flipping a coin.
And actually, you will find, people think it's a joke. And I actually suggest you to go and do it. And you will learn so much about your life. First of all, when you flip the coin, you will see what moves inside of you.
Yeah.
You will see, no, I wish it would be, just not that,
Yeah.
Suddenly you know the answer, no, not 1. Okay, so it's 2.
Yeah.
So that's also.
I can't remember where it was. It was one of the books I love reading as well. And it was something like, there isn't really a wrong option.
Yeah.
Like there's just a different path.
I totally agree with this, and this is why it leads me to this, how powerful is flipping the coin. I come from tech. So there is few different modalities in technology, and one of them that you sit for 1 year and you're planning and you're planning and you're planning, and then after 1 year you go and execute because you made a master plan.
Yeah.
And the other one is you don't think and you do it.
Go for it.
Yeah. And then after, when you go and you just do it, so you don't have an experience. So for sure you make a mistake. But then the next day you learn something and you go do it again. And the next day you go and do it again. And by 1 year you have done it 200 times already.
Yeah.
You have 200 experiences. So the one who was thinking for 1 year and made one choice after 1 year, he go and do it, and then he learns there is a problem of his choice. So you have very little experience and a lot of thinking. And I think that in life you should lean to experience rather than to intellectualizing stuff, because your intellect is made up. Experience is something that you really felt.
Feel and go through.
And so I wouldn't say that one experience shows you everything about life, but when you're re-experiencing and re-experiencing and re-experiencing, you really learn something. So I would prefer to gain more experience and making mistakes, knowing that I'm learning, than doing nothing, thinking and getting 0 experience and not learning anything at the end. So
It's exactly how I live my life. Not that I think it was a conscious choice, but I'm just somebody that's like, oh wow, go for it. Fail 1,000 times, but then at the end of it, you're like, oh wow, I've learned so much, instead of planning and planning. Would you say, I know Wonderland is a very beautiful place. I've been there a few times, and lots of people kind of go on retreats. And you said you've been involved in like hundreds of other companies, or a number of companies. Would you say that living this life philosophy has helped you in business? And I wouldn't say be more successful like financially, I just mean enjoying it. Is this kind of way of life that you've incorporated really, did you always have this way of life before and like was successful, or did you bring this into life and it's kind of flowed more and it feels more successful?
I think it's a natural growth of time. I don't think that 15 years ago I was applying the same level of what I'm applying 10 years ago or 5 years ago, so it's a constant movement. I want to say that I think that things fits together on all levels. It's like you can be doing good financially and doing good mentally, and it can go together, and it can go against each other. And I think when you're starting to master those skills, you find a way to mix it together. So like we are now running a new project. It's called Wonder Village. It's in the process of creation, and it's like it's 60 people involved in it, in their houses, and there is like, it's a very big project, a lot of work to do, and we so-called having good life. Why should they do this? And we are trying to bring all these skills and knowledge and attitude into that project. So of course, there is challenges, there is problems, but if you bring those modalities into the practicality of doing this project, you can actually enjoy it. And yeah, there is hard moments on the way. It's not always beautiful. I don't think that trying to follow the book of Tao or study this and spirituality means that your life will be perfect. No, it means that you will enjoy the journey of your life with the challenges that will come inside of them. Because a lot of people thinking that once you go on this path, so there is no more problems. No, there is tons of problems, same you had before, but now you're enjoying being with them, and you learn from them, and you find the benefit of the challenges and the lessons that you receive, which before, every time you had the problems, crisis, I have to run away, I have to jump, I have to fight. So it's not so fun.
You can now kind of be the witness and watch yourself going through the challenge and the problem and growing rather than being so identified with it.
If you think about it, I call it playing the game, is if, let's say I create a computer game or these phone games, and so there is 1,000 levels. And my goal as the creator of the game is that the most amount of people will play the game and will play as long as possible, because this is how I'm going to make money. Let's say this is my goal. So I'm creating first level, and the first level is same as second level, and same as third level. The challenge level is not changing. So it's level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. It's all the same.
Same.
How long can you play this game? 5, 10 levels. You get bored after sometimes. So I've created the game. Level 1, very easy, very simple. You finish it in 1 second. Then level 2, little bit another challenge. Level 3, another challenge, and so on. And every level, there is little bit more difficulty. So in one way, every time you play a level, it's like you have a challenge and you're trying to figure out what to do. So you're getting engaged with it, And then once you finish it, you feel satisfied. I finished the challenge. I'm good. And as soon as you finish level 3 and you're happy about it, there is level 4. And the challenge is bigger than before. So it's like, it's an endless game. And I think life is very similar. You play the game. There is constantly challenging that coming around you, and you enjoy playing with them.
Yeah.
And that's what makes life.
Challenge is the life, right?
Yeah, it's part of it. Now just think if your life will be just one flat line.
Yeah.
I don't know how much you're going to enjoy living it. And for a chapter in your life, it would be amazing to have it just flat. But I promise you, after this flatness, you will get bored and you will look for something new.
You said something great earlier about, I don't know if you framed it or said it this way, but the way I interpreted it was something like success, this outside success. What I feel I'm hearing from you is that life is about these challenges, these kind of, but it's how we have this practice and move through those and enjoy it, I suppose. What would you say is a challenge, even though we know that these are illusions, because I can say that as well, what's a challenge that you might face, but you apply this in life or business or relationships, and how do you cope with it? Because we've all got challenges, we're all going through something. What challenge do you have currently or through life?
Okay.
Thanks so much for watching our videos and being part of the tribe. We're really here to raise consciousness, ignite your vibration, and help you master this monkey mind. And did you know that science has proven over and over again that one of the fastest ways to reprogram your mind is through positive affirmations and things like these Bodhi beads. They're a set of 108 mala beads that go round in a ring like this, and you practice positive affirmations to reprogram your brain. Science has also proven in a 30-day study that if you say the same affirmation and use a set of beads, then you can literally neurologically change the pathways in your brain. Now that means any of those limiting beliefs that you've got around money, around love, around health, you can change them if you repeat a certain affirmation that I am wealthy, I am loved, I am healthy. And that's why we've created a set of 8 powerful meditations where you do one meditation every day with me personally for 30 days. And you use your beads in your hand, and each time you use the affirmation, you roll your thumb and your finger around on these beads. These meditations are videoed, or you can download the MP3s, put them on your phone, and literally go to bed at night time rolling your Bodhi beads. These Bodhi beads are handmade with love in Thailand by a local family. We ship them free to anywhere in the world, and plus we donate 10% of all of our profits to an elephant sanctuary here in Thailand. So click the link below, make sure you sign up right now, because we're actually going to give you a 20% discount code. All you need to do is when you go to the checkout is type in I love Bodhi, and that will give you a 20% discount on your first purchase of Bodhi beads. Have an amazing day. Now you can get back to the video. See you soon.
Before I answer this one, I must share one thing, that the way you ask the question is very important for the people to listen to this. You said something very interesting. You were referring to something that I said, and then you were kind of carefully saying, what is your interpretation of this? And you were not saying, you said A, B, C, D.
Yeah.
This is something very important. When you actually start to take ownership on your own perception of reality, and not saying, the Buddha said, Fluke said, he said, and then I'm going with it.
Yeah.
No. I understood that. And with that, I'm going forward. And I'm pointing to this. I think this is a very powerful lesson in life. Taking ownership of what you understand rather than what maybe is really happening. It's like understanding there is a difference between your perception and what might be the truth.
Yeah.
Yes, and understanding there is a gap between these two things. That's a very powerful step forward in the progress of anything that you do in life, relationship management and so on. Where is my challenges today? There is one thing that is it comes around me a lot now, is that I've met in my life more than 10,000 people, let's say, that I worked with, let's say, in Inner Walk or in Wonderland, or coached one-on-one, or been in a talk that I participated or something like this. So there is about 10,000 people that I can say their name and they can say my name. And so I'm getting a lot of messages. And I don't get the time to answer those messages. So it's a challenge in my realm. Like there is one side of me who wants to attend and to give time to each one of the people that I talk with, and there is reality. There is 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
I'm a father. I have 2 kids. I'm engaged with a lot of reality projects, not just philosophical talks with people or taking care of someone. I engage with different projects. So my time for each thing is becoming more and more limited, and there is 24 hours a day. So I can see various challenges around these things. One, am I feeling guilty or shame or judging myself for not attending to everybody's needs? Do I feel tension that I need to do it? That's one challenge that is around, and how to handle this challenge. Because I give my time to a lot of different things, so maybe I'm neglecting stuff that I shouldn't neglect. Maybe my kids, maybe the project that I'm engaging with, and so on. So there is those kind of like time management challenges. If you ask me how do I handle it, my inner experience with this is I understand that I do my best. I understand that I trust myself, not trust the universe, blah, 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 trust myself, that I will become aware with time to how I need to adjust my time, how I spread my time between things. So like sometimes I neglect something, but I trust that I will become aware to that. So I'm sure that things in reality will push me signals that will make me become aware, you need to look at this. But time management and spreading my time is probably the biggest challenge. For me in my life. But I feel comfortable about it. I don't go to sleep at night with worries about all of the people I didn't answer.
Yeah.
And I think because the way I do my life, I work, basically, I don't charge money for anything that I do in my life. Wonderland charge money for rooms, but I don't charge money for Inner Walk or for talking with people. So I don't play the exchange game.
You don't play the exchange.
No, I don't play.
When you say exchange games, you mean like money? Like people give money as an exchange.
Exchanging my time for your resources, let's say, or my time for your time. Maybe I'll give you an advice and you'll do a massage. I don't know. I don't play the exchange game. So I don't feel like I'm committed at that level to anyone. So I'm feeling very free from that kind of thing. And actually, I feel that because of that, people don't come with expectations to me. So I don't feel that I need to process and to clear a lot of expectations for me. So if a lot of people expecting things from you, you will feel it.
Yeah.
It will not put you in a comfortable place.
It's funny that you answered that. I'm really interested in how, because I'm also very curious on how I can improve whatever I'm going through as well. And that's exactly how I felt maybe a couple of years with like the following on social media, publishing a book, and lots of people are asking you for help and advice, and you kind of feel tired and you can feel a bit burnt out. Or that was my experience, I should share, a couple of years ago. And I just needed to take a bit of a break. But I love how you say you trust that you'll speak to the right people, or we're human, right? We might neglect someone by mistake even sometimes and give more time and energy to that one. So yeah, it's a really good answer. I really appreciate that because I learned a lot then.
And you know, I will give you as a reality challenge. Avoiding is one solution, and overdoing is the other solution. Yeah, and the truth is in the middle. You do what you can. Now that's actually the truth of reality. You do what you can, because that's actually what you can do. You do what you can.
What you can do, right?
Okay, so that's like in mathematics, I win. You know, you do what you can. The equation works. Now the mind is fighting about two things: do more that you can, or avoid doing. Yeah, because avoid doing is giving you the space.
Yeah.
So if you overdoing, you will end up in avoiding. Yeah, and it doesn't serve your personal mission, let's say, and it doesn't help the people that you come to avoidance. So if you're actually overdoing, you will end up in avoidance, and at the end you will not do more than you have done before. You will actually do less. So actually finding the middle way, which is one of the biggest teachings of the Buddha, is the answer. So the true answer is that you do what you can. It sounds simple. It's not that sophisticated, but it's the truth of it. So understanding that as a human being is very beneficial. One of the things that we meet today a lot is burnout. What is burnout? Someone who have done more than he can. Yeah, so he was the best manager, the best developer, the best salesman in the company, and he burned out. Now we don't have him anymore. It's like, it's not good for business. It's not good for him. It's not good for the business. Why, as a company who is striving for success, I don't monitor the burnout process in my organization, because I want to keep the people working for me their entire life. It's very beneficial for my business.
Long term. 100%.
Long term, yeah. You know, the biggest investment in an organization is human resources and finding the right people to do the work. So you have an amazing... Who is the one who gets into burnout? The best people who works for you.
Yeah.
Because they're overloaded, and this is why they are the best. But you lose them at some point. So it's pure management. It's like, it's wise management, and it's simple.
And Antonio, this is why I always say we need to take spa days once a week to relax, you know, and work hard, but then also know when to take a break and just meditate and chill. This is why I love Buddhism. I started reading Buddhism 20 years ago, and wouldn't say that I'm Buddhist, but I really enjoyed their philosophy because it wasn't really about looking at someone above me or God in the sky, and I'm not against that, but it just wasn't resonating with me. It was just take responsibility, and it's common bloody sense. Like, and I get a lot of what you're saying, these simple little phrases that you're saying. It's just so simple. It's so common sense, but it's hard for a lot of people because I'm guessing they're so stuck in that. It doesn't seem like common sense, and we just keep on going. What would you say to somebody just to, like, their first step? They've never meditated. They've never done the inner walk. They don't know the Tao. They don't know Buddhism. What would you just say to anybody, whether it's a businessman burning out, a woman struggling to look after her children, or a young man in prison on drugs? What would be the first, if there is a step, what would be the door?
First of all, I will share with you that as you started to ask the question, I understood where it's going, and I felt like, okay, fuck, I don't know what to say.
Amazing.
No, just to see it, you know, you can see this one, acknowledge it, and keep listening. And maybe something will come up. You see, it's like, this is us understanding how to separate the layers of what's going in.
Bro, I got goosebumps, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, this is what's going on inside of you, and like, okay, I can see this. I don't dismiss this. Oh, I don't know what to say. It's like, I'm aware to that, but it helps me to come back and to continue listening to you talking. And as you were continue talking, something else came into my mind. So I'll share this one.
Beautiful.
But I want to say this is what the practice is. It's like, is being with this, and okay, it's like allowing this for a second and keeping present and listening, and you know, and something else will come, because things are changing all the time and so on. And it's also to say, okay, to say I don't know, yeah. But I tell you what came to me: go on a journey. And so, what do I mean by go on a journey? We are confined to a path of life. and we're feeling very protected in this path. So even if your life is horrible, you're actually feeling comfortable inside of it. A good example is why abused woman or a man in a relationship will stay in a relationship. Because they are used to it, they are comfortable continue doing what they've done before, and they are afraid from the change. So when I'm saying go on a journey, I'm basically saying try to live as much as you can for a short time, not all your life. Don't quit work. Don't just go on a journey. Maybe 1 month, 3 weeks. You cannot 2 weeks. And don't bring anyone with you. Don't bring anyone with you. That's the best advice I'll give you when you go on a journey. Everyone you're going to bring with you will bring you back to your past. Because you're used to to tell the same jokes and come back to the same patterns with the same people that you already know. So leave everything behind, even if it's for 2 weeks, and go somewhere different. What is happening when you leave your comfort zone, you actually start to develop. Because it's like, there is a teaching that I heard from one rabbi, and it goes, you as a human being, if you think about a snake, yeah? So he lives his life and he starts to grow, and his skin does not grow with him. So at some point, he's feeling very tight in his skin. So what the snake does, he goes in hide, and he takes off his skin. Now he's very vulnerable, yeah, because his skin is protecting him. So he needs to hide, and he grows new skin. And then he can go out and live his life again. And after some times, he grow again, and the skin is not big enough. So he needs to go hide again, take off the skin, and repeatedly do it. Okay, so the reason he takes off the skin, yeah, is because he's not comfortable in the skin. So what the human being does, he walks in his life, and he's getting in discomfort. And what he's doing, he's going to take a medicine that helps you to feel comfortable in the discomfort.
Yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't go out of his skin and go to look for a new life or changes. So the moral of the story is basically that you need to be uncomfortable in order to grow. And so you actually need to get out of your comfort zone in order for something else new, a change will happen in your life. So the first thing I invite people is go on a journey. And I will say, as we're speaking now, I was actually thinking, what am I doing in my life? And when the most significant project that people know is Wonderland. And if you go to Wonderland and you put the camera on, like you video it and you investigate the people, what they are doing and who they are, so you'll see that 95% of the people that arrive to Wonderland, they are not into yoga and meditation so much. They maybe heard about it, maybe did something. They actually maybe don't even know what's the meaning of meditation. Or they're actually frustrated from the concept of it because they went to a class and they didn't get it. So my main intention in the work is to meet this person, the newcomer, the one who have no idea. Yeah? I'm more interested in meeting him than actually meeting you. Because I really like you, but you've been doing your work.
Yeah.
I want to meet the one who didn't do anything.
They go on a journey.
Yes.
Nice, man.
And then when we meet those people, it's like, so they are actually new to something. So when people actually come to us, it's they went to a 2 weeks vacation. And that can be a life-changing journey for them because they expose themselves to different ideas, to new people, to new concept, to new practice, to new experiences.
Maybe they'll learn the yoga and meditation and go off, but at least they've had that space.
Maybe they go climb a mountain. I don't know.
Yeah.
So take 2 weeks off and go climb a mountain. I promise you, you will learn more in 2 weeks on the mountain that you ever learned in your life in school and university.
Yeah, 100%.
It's so deep what you can get in 2 weeks on the mountain. And I don't think that we are allowing ourselves to go on a journey. It's like, you work and then you make money and then you go on the 2 weeks vacation that you have, but you're afraid to go alone. So you bring your people with and you go to a place that looks like what you really know, which is the same type of food that you already really like. And it's like...
It's the same, right?
Yes,
and then you go back. I remember I did a retreat here in Thailand and I was the yoga meditation teacher. So I was having all the structures and all of the classes and teaching all this thing and all the books that I've read. And then at the end of it, we take everybody out. We went to Khao Sok, really beautiful place with all the water. And then the students that are on the course, they go off and have their adventure. And one of the ladies, she came back and she went, Brett, I really like you. and I really like what you was teaching. She said, but today was the day that I had the biggest transformation. My ego was so bruised. I was like, damn. And she was basically on her own in a kayak in the jungle on the river and Khao Sok, just like that. And it was just like nature, the universe, something just clicked. It was like, and it really taught me, it's like, you know, it's got nothing to do with me. Like, I'm just hopefully encouraging people to have this space, and if we can get out of the way, they have it. And it was brilliant because it really put my ego in check. This was when I was new at teaching. I was like, it's got nothing to do with Brett.
It's amazing. You know, we do yoga teacher training. It's a 1-month course. And on the third week, usually, it's not always the same. We take them for 3 times for 2 hours for inner walk. And so they've been studying for 2 weeks and they've been practicing, and the teachers gave them all the information and all the asanas and the meditation and the posture and the breathing and all these, you know, very beautiful technologies. And then we tell them, and so we don't do guidance for them. So they go to inner walk. And we show them the place, and I tell them, in 1 minute, you walk back and forth, straight line, freestyle, don't control your thoughts, let your mind do what it wants, and I go. That's it.
Just let them be.
So, like, you know, in one asana of yoga, there is more instruction, yeah? It's like, and they walk there, and suddenly, they have like a very profound experience in these 3 times 2 hours. Now, it's not the inner walk who gave them the profound experience, it's the inner walk space enabled them to be with themselves, and start to what I call integrate everything that goes inside of them, and suddenly, whoa, I get it. Like, wow, my mom, my friend, my work, this, that, my tension, you know? And so, you know, sometimes you do a course and then you just give them 2 hours in the river and it's all clicks.
Yeah.
But if you keep them in the box all the time, they cannot get it. So
it's kind of like what you're saying about people at home, if they're listening, go off on an adventure, even if it's go camping for 1 night in your local forest somewhere, or book a ticket to Thailand and have a retreat in Wonderland. But get out of that environment, get out of familiarity.
Leave the things behind you. Take a risk. Take a risk. You know, if you don't take this risk, life will pass in front of you, and you just end up 20, 30 years later taking the risk and asking yourself, why didn't I do this 30 years ago?
Yeah. You
know, I meet people in all ages. We have people that come at the young ages, like 18, 20, you know, and stuff like this. And we have people 70, 75, 80. You know, it's like we have all diverse of ages. And you know, when you sit across the board, everyone says, why it took me so long?
Yeah, yeah.
You're 22, you think why it took you so long. You're 40, you think why it took you so long.
Yeah.
You're 60, you think the same thing. It's like, so why to wait? Go on a journey, go on an adventure. Yeah.
Mate, I'm just so grateful for this. I'm really grateful to listen to you. I could learn so much and keep going, but we're running out of time.
Yeah, it's okay.
Fluke, yeah, I'm really grateful. Maybe we can get you back on one day, and I would love to come and do the inner walk and interview more about that sort of stuff. So, yeah, thank you so much for your time, bro. It's amazing.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being with you. I really enjoyed this.
Yeah, mate, amazing. Thank you, bro.
Good job. Good job.
Yeah. Hello viewers, thank you so much for watching this video. I'm hoping that you enjoyed it just as much as we enjoyed making it. We love this adventure we're on, we love growing this community, and we would love you to actually help us. So I've got a favor to ask you. Make sure that you subscribe below, and if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and turn that notification button on, because that actually helps us with the algorithm. In other words, it's going to help us reach more people and spread this ripple effect. And I really appreciate your time and energy for watching any video. So if you've got any comments or questions or queries, make sure you pop them in the box below. By subscribing, you're going to be one of the first people to know when we release new content. If you really want to take your journey and your growth to the next level, make sure you watch this next video and have an amazing day. Once again, thank you so much for your time and your energy. See you in the next video.